Well, hey there, Bat fans! It looks like the new Batman movie, The Batman, is finally at the theater, but I haven't seen it yet. I've heard mixed things, so I'll wait. I might still go, though, when the crowds thin out a bit, but I thought I'd go ahead and give you a review of the Batman movie, and I chose this one. Batman from 1966. That's right, the Adam West Batman. Now, I'm sure you all know this movie, so I don't have to go into too much detail. Suffice to say, it brings in almost all of the stars from the television series, except one, and we'll get into that later. And they use the same sets and all that stuff. They did add some new vehicles like the Batcopter, the Batboat, and the Batcycle. The four main villains, Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, and the Riddler, join forces to carry out an evil plan to blackmail the world. From the TV show, we have Adam West, and Burt Ward, of course, and Burgess Meredith, Cesar Romero, Frank Gorshin, Alan Napier, Madge Blake, Neil Hamilton, Stafford Rep. They're all here. Batgirl hadn't been added to the series yet, so Yvonne Craig is not in the movie, sadly, and Julie Newmar was not available to play Catwoman. She was in Europe making a movie that ironically never got completed. Instead, we have Lee Merriweather. And you know what? She's really great as Catwoman. Most people would say Julie Newmar, and rightfully so. And some might say Eartha Kitt, and they wouldn't be totally wrong. Still others might say Michelle Pfeiffer, but for some reason, not Lee Merriweather. She's the forgotten Catwoman, and it's a shame. She's so good here, and deserves more credit as a Catwoman. Also in the cast is Reginald Denny in his last movie role. And on the show they usually had celebrity cameos, and there's one here. That's right, Jack LaLanne. Jack LaLanne was a health advocate who had a daily TV show which ran for years, where he'd do exercise routines along with, presumably, the home audience, which mostly consisted of housewives. In later years, one of his favorite jokes was to tell someone, "You know, I spent a lot of time on the floor with your mom." Oh, I miss Jack LaLanne. He was a character. Anyway, he's here and we see him with a group of women doing exercises. If you love the Batman TV show, and we can't be friends if you don't, then you will love this movie. It's the TV show writ large. So, I know some Bat fans can't stand the Adam West Batman. He's too silly for them. They yearn for an R-rated Batman. They're all into the grim Dark Knight. And they don't think Adam West counts as a legit Batman. Well, I'm about to blow your mind, Bat fans. Get this. The Adam West Batman is the only live-action Batman that was based directly on the comics. What? What? What the hell? Have you gone crazy, Barkey? No, let me explain. See, Batman has undergone changes over the years. He started out as a grim crime fighter taking on gangsters. He even had a gun. That's right, Batman had a gun. Well, they kind of phased that out early on, though, when Batman became a hit. But then something happened. The pearl clutchers of the day and congressmen looking for quick, easy votes decided that comic books were bad for kids. They were concerned that there was too much violence in comics and kids might act that out. Kind of the same idea when they ranted about D&D in the 80s or video games and stuff. There wasn't any substance to the argument, but all their complaining led to a thing called the Comics Code Authority. The CCA would monitor comics, and you couldn't sell comics to kids, the main market for comics, unless you had the Comics Code stamp of approval on the cover. Now, this was kind of like the ratings systems for movies. The CCA was not a government thing. It was the industry working with civic groups to police comics. In other words, again, like the movie ratings, it was the industry more or less policing itself. And Batman was a big hit, so if they wanted to keep making Batman comics, the publisher had to change Batman. And so they toned down the violence and made Batman a lot more kid-friendly. This was the era where Batman would battle a villain atop a giant-sized actual working typewriter. And this is where the Rainbow Batman story came from and stuff like that. It wasn't until the 1970s when Dennis O'Neil and Neil Adams rehabilitated Batman and brought him back to a darker, more grim crime fighter. They still had to work within the conventions of the CCA though, which was one reason why Batman's cape and cowl were electric blue. Not a very scary color. In the early 1980s, they transitioned to a much darker blue, almost an indigo. And then, of course, came Frank Miller's The Dark Knight, and Batman came full circle to become once again a scary, grimdark force of justice. The CCA lasted until 2011, when no major publishers followed it anymore. But the Adam West Batman originated in the mid-1960s, before Adams and O'Neil took on the comic. See, producer William Dozier was looking for a show to make, and he had a stack of comics with him to read on a flight, and Batman was one of those comics. It straight up grabbed him, and he saw all the possibilities in a Batman TV show. Remember, this was still the goofy Batman, the fun humor, the bad puns, all of it. Dozier fell in love with the idea and set out to make the Batman TV show we all know. Originally, they were going to make a movie, this movie from 1966, but the show was ready first, so the movie came later to cash in on the craze the show created. So, there you go. Adam West Batman came directly from the comics. He's the only one. The others don't. Not even Michael Keaton. Hallowed be his name. Won't lie, I love this movie. It achieves everything it sets out to do, and it's so much fun. I've got to give it at least 3 paws. It's just so awesome.
What's this? A dog reviewing movies? Looks like Hollywood has gone to the dogs. Tune in next time. Same Barkey time, same Barkey channel.
Yeah, what he said.